Hey everyone, how's it going? Luke from A Taste of AZ. On today's episode of the podcast, we've got Dilo, who runs bar and restaurant insurance. He's well known in the industry and has helped out all sorts of people, so he's got a pretty unique perspective on Arizona food and beverage. Let's jump into the podcast.
So our guest today is Stormtrooper number
FK298727, the dollar sign.
27 of the dollar signs?
No, just 227, and then like a dollar sign.
Are you getting a call?
Yeah. Vader, I got to get back to you. Thank you. Okay.
Excellent. Thanks, man. Thank you for taking the time. Could you turn that off for the rest of the interview so that we're not interrupted again?
You got it.
Best intro of all time.
Like that?
Dilo.
Woo.
David DeLorenzo. Dude, thanks for joining. You're not even sweating.
No.
You're used to this?
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely used to it. Although the long hair is giving me kind of one of these new sorts of abilities to sweat even more.
Oh.
Yeah, I did my first man bun this morning. My wife's like, hell no.
Yeah. Is it going to keep going? Are you going to keep growing that as long as your wife will let you?
So I had a really bad beard. Anybody that knows me and probably saw it from, I think, July to August. It was all gray and just long. And
okay.
I mean, I look like something out of the woods.
I saw it. It was gross. Yeah.
Yeah. and meanwhile, I grew my hair while I was doing that. So what was really cool is I made an agreement with my wife. Fine, I'll shave the beard, but I'm keeping the hair going. Because I'm having midlife crisis, man. I just turned 47. I'm like, I still have a little bit of hair, so I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna grow it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Live it up, man.
Live it up.
Right? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Dilo, thanks for joining, man. We connected, I don't know, about a year ago, maybe 2 years. Actually, it feels like COVID, that's like a year that was wrapped into about 2 weeks, almost feels like in my brain.
Yeah, we met at
2 weeks.
We met at one of the AZ Guild's functions, and you were there
That's
in
right.
the corner eating pizza and wings and drinking some beers.
Yeah,
remember
like
that?
I do.
Yeah, that's when we could all convene in this little space, and Rob has this, I don't know, 200 square foot office, and put about 30 of us in there, and
We were in there.
yeah, we all had a good time. And you and I,
That was the beginning of your sweat then, probably, right?
that was the beginning of the sweat. Yes, for sure.
Well, Dilo, thanks for joining us, man. Are you... I mean, you're all about Arizona. So you were born and raised here as
Native,
well?
yeah, native. I was born at Scottsdale Memorial.
Okay.
Yep, and then I took a little journey to Atlanta, Georgia when I was 5.
Okay.
Stayed out there for about 14 years.
Just to find yourself?
Yeah, well, just to go play in the woods and
Yeah.
get to know the Atlanta Braves and, have a lot of cool childhood friends and memories, and then deal with humidity. And then I came back here, finished high school, and finished ASU.
Gotcha. Well, what took you there? Like, what took you guys to Georgia?
Divorce.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Things.
I mean, pretty simple. So my dad's always lived out here.
Okay.
And my mom, they had me out here, obviously, and then they got divorced. My stepdad, who's still, he's like my dad. My dad's like my dad. It's cool because I have 3 dads and I have 2 moms.
Yeah.
I'm very blessed.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyways, that divorce got me over there, and then I had a great childhood. And then, when you turn to be an asshole 16-year-old kid, you realize you know everything and the grass is greener. I'm like, I'm going to live at Dad's.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. And that's what I did. I came over here and I was,
Yeah.
I just loved it. I love Arizona.
Well, who was Dilo the kid? Like, were you like wild, like energy, super energy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was Han Solo whenever we played Star Wars.
Okay. Every time, or you wouldn't play?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
I'm out.
I didn't want to be Luke. I wanted to be Han because I just had that, kind of that scoundrelness about me.
Yeah.
So, I had a lot of fun. I was always hyper. I was always running. I was always a runner. The McGuires out in Atlanta taught me that, and there was a lot of cool races and stuff that we used to do together. I always loved Star Wars, growing up, building forts, doing all that sort of stuff. And I was always a loner, but also very much I don't know how to explain this. I was a loner in one sense, but also like not the popular kid, but the kid that enjoyed and loved being around everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know how. So are you an introvert in the aspect of you need to be away from people to recharge?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Same thing. Like I love being around people, but it's like get me the hell away from people right now. Right?
Yeah.
Because I can't. Me going in, if it's like, all right, I'm stressed. All right, let's have a big party for you. I'm like, no.
Right.
Like you guys have a party. Just let me stay home. Right.
Yeah.
So,
1,000%. I mean,
Yeah.
now that I'm even older, meditation and just getting away. And when my day's done, it's done. I get up at 4 and, I start my daily routines. And by the time, I gotta tell you, by the time 4 o'clock hits, I'm just like, pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
So when there's like some hospitality outing or some happy hour or something like that, just to even go and have an iced tea and stare at people for 2 hours it's hard,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
just have this cycle going.
Yeah. Well, you're learning, and we're going to get into that because you've learned over the years how to put this into something that is simple but very effective.
Yeah,
Right.
I think so.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just my life, you know?
The crazy life of Dilo.
Yeah. The crazy but now simple life.
Yeah. Well. So I know. So you moved out to Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where from there? Like, did you have an idea of like a career path or what you wanted to do? Because did your dad have this business then?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the name of the insurance, everybody knows me as Bar Restaurant Insurance, which is true. That's a subsect of Ambassador Group, which is the name of our actual agency. Started by my dad back in the 80s. My dad came from Allstate, worked there for 13 years as their top producer. They basically didn't like him producing so much because they don't like people to stand out. I mean, this was in Forbes magazine. They followed him home. He would sleep on the couch with a baseball bat because there would be, it was like the black car syndrome.
Of State Farm?
Of Allstate.
Or Allstate.
Yeah, whatever. They're all the same to me. So, he started Ambassador Group with one of his 5 wives. And then, that being said, he's been very successful in the home and auto. He actually got to retire this year, which is a blessing for me and such a beautiful gift for him to be able to give to himself and for me to help give to him with the reassurance that he'll be okay. And he's off doing another career that later. So to answer your question, I was always that kid that loved music.
Okay.
Van Halen, hands down my all-time favorite when Eddie passed away last October. This sounds weird, but it's like it was just one of the worst pop moments of my life, and
we make connections with those people, right? Like they help us through a lot of times of our lives, and they define times of our lives,
No, you're absolutely right. And so when I was a little kid, and my first 3 records I bought was Lionel Richie, Penny Lover, Michael Jackson, Thriller, who didn't my age, and Van Halen, 1984. And that record just changed my life. When I say changed my life, it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm going to meet Eddie. I was laying in my bed looking up at his poster, him, the guitar guy. I'm like, I'm going to meet him one day. Fast forward, I'm at ASU. I get an internship at Warner Electra Atlantic. It's a distributorship for these record labels. And I get a job with them. I get an internship. And I'm working with everybody from Aerosmith to the Red Hot Chili Peppers to, lo and behold, Van Halen.
Yeah.
And so here I am. I'm meeting Eddie Van Halen. I put the energy out there and I accomplished something that, when you're a little kid, it's so far-fetched and, it's like these people, you look at them, you have a different mindset. But when you meet them in person, and this was a great experience. Most everybody I met, it was a great experience in person. I didn't have anybody really that bad. You realize that they're just women and men that they're doing their craft and they're doing a great job at it. I swear I turned this off.
Somebody's at the door. Should we go get it?
Housekeeping? Anyways, okay, now that's on vibrate. Nothing like that for
That
a
was
podcast.
the best interruption ever. Yeah,
Isn't it the best?
that was a good
Stormtrooper
one.
and now the cell phone. You're not going to get this anywhere else. Oh my God. So I end up meeting Eddie Van Halen. We have I promote his last, one of his last records, which was Van Halen 3 with Gary Cherone. And it was really cool, And so I had that interconnectivity because growing up when as a kid listening to all those records and what it does for your blood and your soul and everybody out there, I know they have their own music that just creatively makes them into this person that is above and beyond, without the music.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, almost like, it's like I've met a handful of celebrities. I met Jimmy Johnson, the NASCAR driver at Buffalo Wild Wings. and had beers with him and shot basketball.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I wasn't a NASCAR fan. Like I wasn't like, there are people like, holy shit, it's Jimmy John. I mean, it was like 11 p.m. on a Sunday.
And see, this is how different it is for everybody that's out there, because I would be the asshole that would be at Buffalo Wild Wings. You guys would be doing that, and I'd be like, "Dude, you're hogging the machine? Like,
Yeah.
who the hell is? I don't even know who Jimmy Johnson is.
Well,
Like,
you mean the sausage guy?
yeah,
That's
right?
this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't eat your sausages, bro.
However, I saw Maynard, right, and I've been a huge fan of
Yeah.
Tool from day one, and I saw him, and I froze. Like I was starstruck. My wife was like, "Why are you being so weird? You can at least look at him." We were in the tasting room, and she's like, "Is that him?" And it was some dude all tatted up. I'm like, "No, that's not him." She's like, "No, the guy right behind you." And I was like, "Oh shit." And I'm like,
You're like, whoa.
stiff. I was stiff, and I wouldn't even look over at him. And it was weird. It was
He was
uncomfortable for me.
he was at Devour when you're pouring wine.
Yeah.
And I walked up to him, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, can I?" And I'm just looking at him like, "Nah, dude, I don't drink wine, but cool." I was like,
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, so what did you do, like as an intern in the music industry? What was your role?
So the internship eventually turned into a job. All you that are in Arizona and been here for a while probably remember Zia Records and Warehouse and Tower, Sam Goody, all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
initially my job was to go hang up posters and get CDs end capped, at
Okay.
these record stores when people
Yeah.
would walk into a store and actually buy a CD. I think Zia is the only one that's really around anymore. So I would go and do that. I'd put thousands of miles on my car, any and everything. But what was nice is I'd get all these free CDs. I'd meet all the bands. So, when you're working with, Tom Petty and Faith No More, and it's all over the board. I mean,
Yeah.
just really cool people. When they'd come to town, you'd get tickets. You would do giveaways. You would do enter to win, that sort of stuff. That later turned on to an interview at Maverick Records, which was Madonna's label. And this was crazy. I'm a 22-year-old kid. I get flown out there by Madonna's manager. I go there, meet with her, interview, and basically don't get the job because I was too young at the time. He's too green. He's great, but
Yeah.
he's too green. So I kept working for Warner Brothers. And
Let me back up for a
Yeah.
second. What is an interview by Madonna? What is that like? Does she just stare at you
pretty
until
much,
you leave?
Yeah, just kind of brief.
How
and
long can he stay?
Right, yeah.
20 minutes. All right, he was pretty good.
Yeah,
All right,
that was about it. Yeah. It was so long ago. It's just kind of one of those things you can't believe you're there when you're there, and then it's just kind of like, okay, that was cool.
yeah,
But
that's awesome.
the guy that brought me out for the interview, we did enough partying for the next 3 days after that.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, it's cool.
Yeah.
So all that transgressed into, basically, I got my name out there, and then the music business just took a complete plop. iTunes came out. The record labels didn't have the money that...
This is early 2000s.
Yeah,
okay.
and they didn't have the money that they, used to have, and so, job offers were Minnesota and Chicago, and I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy the cold until this last year when I started doing Wim Hof, but that's another story. So I was like, I love Arizona. I want to stay here. So I opened up not a record label, but a marketing company called Diamond in the Rough with a gentleman named Larry Mack. And Larry was on KUPD. He still runs a radio show. He's a program director down in Tucson, KLSX or one of those things down in Tucson. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Larry, sorry. So anyways, we had Diamond in the Rough. We did some marketing promotions for the record labels, again, giving out stickers, posters, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then again, you could just see the trajectory of these record labels just not doing anything anymore.
Meaning like not reacting to the change in the market.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I saw too. It was like, hey man, I don't know this. My opinion is like when it comes to creativity, the market determines what they're going to pay for it, whether or not you want to. Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
They want to get free music, they're going to get free music.
They're going to get free music.
Yeah, make some like pivot, make some cool merch, So I don't know.
No,
my answer is always merch for some reason, right?
Right. Yeah, merch and touring. Merch and touring. Oh shit, we can't tour this year. It's a pandemic.
Yeah.
So it was a great experience. I love it. They're great memories. It taught me so much, and it evolved me to kind of stay here. And I'm very close to my dad and say, okay, you've done well over the years. Besides your 5 wives, and not having any money right now, but rebuilding it each time.
Yeah.
I've learned from this. So
Yeah.
I guess I'll get into insurance. And then it just kind of started.
Just as just general insurance, like all facets of it.
Yeah, and
Okay.
that was hell. Like
Yeah.
I'm out schlubbing, home and auto, $300 policies, this and that. My first paycheck was $167. Dad never gave me a salary, never gave me a credit card, nothing. I lived with my parents, until way past the stages of, Loserville.
Yeah.
And that was fine.
45, right? 40, you're
Yeah,
47.
yeah, something like that, So that was, that was always fun, bringing a girl back to Dad's house. I'm like, ignore, that over there.
Ignore the buff guy over there, right?
Well, he wasn't buff then. Dad was chubby and drinking. But, just walking up the stairs to my room and all that. So anyways, I got into it first 2-3 years. It was like, and then I ended up writing my first bar, which was the Library Bar on Mill Avenue down there. Yeah. I ended up befriending a guy named Julian Wright. I'm sure most people know Julian in Arizona. And, we chatted and we went to lunch and he's like, dude, you should just niche in restaurants and nightclubs. And I'm like, God, okay. I mean, what do I have to lose? I'm not writing any business anyways. The first commercial account I ever wrote was a junkyard. A junkyard. And then I had my first claim at a junkyard over by the airport.
Different junkyard?
No, same junkyard.
And How long was it? Like 20 minutes after you left?
This is one of the things that changed my experience. And then the guy's like, just all over my ass about his claim, and I'm young, I have no idea about what's going on. I'm like, dude, you had junk stolen. Like, how? What? I was just like,
stolen. I was thinking like an injury. Like, oh yeah, there's an injury like every 5 minutes at a junkyard.
No, junk property law. Yeah. I'm like, dude, how do you? Okay, so
stole bumper from a Ford Escort.
Yeah, right. Like $10,000 worth of junk stolen. So I was just like, that's enough. So Julian and I. We had that lunch, and that's when I just and then I had a lunch with Ruli, who's owner of Restaurant Brokers. He happens to be born on February 4th, same date as me. I'll never forget. We're sitting at that Pita Jungle at Apache. We both look at each other's IDs, and we're like, dude, we're birthday brothers.
Same year too?
No.
Okay.
Ruli's way older.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know him, so don't be offended.
Okay. Yeah. Ruli's like 65 right now.
Okay. All right.
But I'm growing my hair out like him. So Ruli's pretty well known in Arizona hospitality, and he's been doing broker and restaurant businesses, left and right for many, many years. And that right there, I was just kind of like, okay, he's got Restaurant Brokers. I'm going to start bar and restaurant insurance. So 18 years ago, I bought the website.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then
18 years ago, that had to have been a process. You probably had to mail stuff in and to buy a website, right?
I don't remember, but it was, I look back, I'm like, okay, that's about as simple as it gets, people looking for this and doing that. And here we are 18 years later, just kind of just really focusing on that niche.
Yeah. Well, how did it start to go? Like once you made that decision, like, all right, here's what we're going to focus on. Because no, I guess this is kind of related. Were you in the fit realm as what you are now? Like as far as like, your focus and the F it up system, were you?
No, that's a really good question. So as you look at kind of the years of my life and you see, the later 20s, early 30s, I was a big fat drunk. That's the Instagram ticker.
Jeez,
anyways,
that's pretty awesome.
I was a big fat drunk but I would still work out and kind of maintain some semblance of thinking I was in shape. But then when I go look at, old pictures of me, I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I thought I was hot shit. And I was like Jabba the Hutt, I was like, this ain't cool.
Yeah.
But I don't regret any of that. And I don't take any of that back. I was single, ready to mingle. I was getting very deeply in hospitality. So there were many of nights where I was just drinking too much and, basically waking up, feeling like crap, eating like crap, starting over, trying to get my car the next morning, taxi money, this and that. But I established a lot of great relationships in hospitality. And so as you grow up with these guys and a lot of these restaurateurs, brewery owners, bar owners, you name it, you get to know them over years and you develop those relationships and that trust. And so what I do is I'm just a relationship person. I'm just a connector of people. And that being said, it's not about the insurance with them anymore. Yeah, of course, I have to be skillful and know, what's going on in my knowledge and all that. And I do, and I love that. But it's more than that. It's about understanding Arizona liquor laws. It's about understanding the different vendors out here that can benefit my insureds. It's about safety protocols. I mean, all that sort of stuff. So I really nerd up and get into that. And then as I just got older, as I hit 40 and I got married and I did the smart thing.
Yeah.
My wife, first marriage, only marriage. It's great. I got all that shit out of my system.
Sure. You have to.
You have to. Yep. And I completely 180'd my life and turned it more into something where a switch kind of clicked, and that's where food, fitness, and focus came in. It always been there, but now it was one of these things that I was just very much taking charge of for myself.
Like doing it deliberately.
Yeah, and documenting it and understanding it. Like what does it do? Intuitively understanding that.
Yeah. I would say that's a tough cycle, right? Because you're getting the best of the best in food and beverage, right? And it's amazing. You're having a great time with people, right? So that high is like that's great.
Yeah,
right.
Amazing.
But it's that next day when it's like shit, like oh man, my head's pounding. Like what is it? Like 6 a.m. Like no, it's 1 p.m. Like what are you doing?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And when you're younger, you can recover a little bit faster. And now that my train ride is getting a little bit shorter, on that lifeline. I don't want to waste any of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So, and I'm not one of, how do I say? I'm not one of, what is that called when you're able to not do something?
Willpower?
I have willpower when I want to do it.
Okay.
But like if somebody puts a beer in front of me and says, just drink that one beer, not happening.
Yeah. I'm drinking that every time. And
Yeah,
I'll probably order another one halfway through that
exactly.
one. Exactly. You just opened up Pandora's box.
So I'm all or none. So I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm none, because I just know what this does to me personally and how it reacts.
Yeah. Well, so and from what I've seen, and I whether it was deliberate or not, what I've seen you do really well is you do create those relationships, right? So these people know that you're going to take care of them, right?
Yeah.
However, on the other side of it, not only do you do that, but you bring excellence with what you bring, right? So it's like a win-win, right? Because it's like, man, I love working with this guy, and he gives us the best service. Like it's like what you were doing with the guild during the whole COVID thing, to be able to come in and give people heads up. I mean, that shit's valuable, super valuable.
Thank you. I mean, it's valuable to me to know that there's local associations that care about their members and their people, and I donate, I give back to all of them personally, because that's just how I am. I understand that they give back to me too, so it's a good symbiotic relationship. But again, it's not an insurance company doing that just to get their name on something. It's Dilo. It's me going in and saying, look, you guys are doing a great job. You're helping out not just my clients, but others out there. I root for everybody. I don't give a shit if you do business with me or not. I want you to. I want to get to know you, and if it works, totally great. If it doesn't, totally great too. But there's a lot of people out there, and some that are probably listening that have never done insurance with me, or maybe just have a relationship. That's totally cool. But I want to get to know you. I want to help you anyways. Like, if they want to call me with questions regarding just other stuff or locations or things or this and that. 25 years of doing business and being here, and 18 years of specializing this, and 13 years of owning some restaurants and bars myself, I understand the business.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Did you buy those bars and restaurants to put yourself through the ringer on purpose to understand?
How somebody interviewed me the other day, and basically what it came down to is those were some of the best learning experiences and biggest notches on my resume that I could have. Because if you don't know me and I walk in and I'm like, hey, I'm going to sell you insurance, it's like, can we just get this over with? But if I walk in and say, let's talk about something relatable. Let's talk about food costs. Let's talk about labor costs. Let's talk about your liability situation of what could happen if so-and-so drinks and drives from your restaurant. Yeah. Then, I'm speaking to them more as a restaurant owner, which, I was multiple times. Yeah. And, I mean, that's just you're paying for experience at that point, and it was great experience. It gives me some legitimacy towards being that person. Yeah.
Did you enjoy having the restaurants?
Oh, at the time, absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
was that in the fun days? I wouldn't say not that now aren't fun days, but was that in the
different fun days? Yeah. I mean, they were great. I mean, you walk in, I'm one of the owners, get my 50% off, It's like,
put it on the other owner's tab.
I mean, I hopefully I wasn't like overly douchebaggy, but always tipped big and did the thing. But we did open a restaurant up in California, and it was part of a local franchise out here. And so that was crazy. I mean, I would drive to San Diego Thursday morning, And I would drive out there. I'd work at the restaurant all weekend, drive back here, on Sunday night, and then get back to work, in the insurance business while I was learning the restaurant business out there.
Wow.
Yeah, in California, which was a completely different ball than Arizona.
Sure.
But again, you can't. You can buy that experience because I didn't make any money off of that.
Right.
But but it's all good, Yeah.
Yeah.
I paid for that.
Yeah. Well, so what are some of the things that you've now that you've been in Arizona food and beverage for 15 years, you said 18?
Yeah, 18.
What are some of what has been your evaluation of what's been going on over the last 15 years? Because it's pretty exciting.
It is exciting. Arizona is, in my opinion, and selfishly, one of the fastest growing melting pots of just amazing, women and men that are coming out here and opening up some of the coolest shit.
Yeah.
And it's very creative. It's people from all over the U.S. that come down and now want to put permanent roots here and bring their taste and their cultures. And I think that's beautiful. I think the more different and the more experiences, the better.
Sure.
And that's a lot of what we're seeing. It wasn't, obviously always like that, but it is growing. You see the development around here. You see a lot of the new buildings going up and all the restaurants going in, and now, breakfast has become this really big thing. You see a lot of these different, the breweries, they're still relatively young in the history of hospitality, and especially in Arizona. And you watch what these, brewers have done and how they've taken these beer focused, identities and created a food experience around it as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
I'm still just completely surprised on some of the stuff that comes across my desk, to quote and look at and these creative ideas. And then obviously wines become big out here.
Yeah.
And so Arizona, even through all of this, I've noticed that yes, we have suffered. Yes, we have lost some great people as far as their businesses shutting down, but in relation to a lot of these other states, I think we're doing okay, and I really think we'll come out of this even better and stronger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's my thought of it too, and that's mindset though, right? And
it is.
That's where we go right here with the F it up.
F it, baby.
F it. I say F it up, but F it. The F it system is what. Well, first of all, let's backtrack just a second. The character, I hope you don't mind me calling it the character of Dilo, right? Because it's cool. I love it. When did that start? Well, first of all, where can people find Dilo?
So, you can find me all over. In
the world, all over, probably running down your street or...
Probably so, yeah.
Instagram was where you're most...
Yeah, so I am the Dilo, DeLo, is on Instagram. I challenge you to follow me there and see my antics and my craziness, and maybe you'll find something that is attributable to help make your day better because you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll try that. And then you try it, you do it for a week, and you're like... Damn, I feel better. You know what, Dilo? That's pretty cool. So
it's very and sorry to interrupt, but at the very core of it all though is positivity. Like you exude positive energy. Like you're not going to look at a Dilo unless you're a dick. You're not going to look at it and say, "Ah, F this guy."
Well, if you're a dick, I just block you. I don't have time for it either. I don't care. Block.
Exactly.
I had some guy that came on there. One of my videos like, "Your forum sucks," and then I was like, "That's cool, bro. Nice to see you." I was trying to do like the nice comment, and then he says it again. I'm just like, block. I'm like, I just don't have time for it. So yes, to get to your point, the Dilo is a news feed of just positivity and love, and so if I'm going to put something out there, it's only going to have that, because when you see my face and you see that, I want you to feel good. You know, I don't want you to hear me talking about what political view I have if I had one, or what I think about vaccine. I don't know. That it's about what I can do to give you positive energy to empower yourself, because we're all individuals doing our own stuff, and there is no right or wrong answer to what you do as an individual. It's what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of the whole basis of it. I'm hoping people can get off the news if they're watching it for 10 minutes and maybe watch, 10 seconds of the Dilo and be like, hey, this is cool. Maybe I'll just download his book and see, what stuff is in here.
It's free.
It's free.
It's free book. Yeah.
So it is free, and what it is a snapshot of the things that I do on a daily basis and what keeps me at full energy level, what allows me to basically have 100 emails a day and be able to either delegate or answer them all and have the energy to do that, what allows me to go out to eat with my friends/clients at local restaurants and spend money, but do it in a way to where I still feel healthy. I know the questions to ask in order to do that. Yes, I do have my days where I may not ask those questions and eat a bunch of pie and pizza or whatever, but you can do all of that. And then on the fitness level, as we get older, it's not about beating the shit out of your body every day. It's about stretching. It's about resting. It's about breathing, all that sort of stuff. And then you look at the focus end and getting into breathing and just, people get so scared about the whole meditation aspect of things because they're like, well, I can't quiet my mind. Well, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to quiet your mind. Just go sit somewhere for 5 minutes. Take some time by yourself. Listen to your favorite tunes, and just kind of escape the everyday madness and just think positive thoughts while you do that. And so everybody has a different analysis of, what goes on. So these are just kind of tips of the trade, things, links, stuff like that, things that I use. And I wanted to do something that when people found me on Instagram or Facebook or even in doing business, and originally this was going to be called Healthy Hospitality. It was going to be a book for the hospitality industry and for their workers and for people like that to be like, God, if I do these at-home bodyweight exercises, maybe when I pick up that next tray, I'll have some sort of a ability to understand that I have to pick up with my legs because I'm doing leg squats, or so kind of helping the hospitality people in a sense have a healthier environment and a healthier understanding and a consciousness of what they're doing, how they're doing, and why they're doing it, instead of just kind of mundanely coming to work at times and just like getting hurt. Not cool. Or feeling better on their shifts because they get enough rest. So it was Healthy Hospital. And then I just kind of realized, I'm like, this is just something so broad. It speaks to everybody. Yeah. Any woman or man, entrepreneur, whatever you want to do. And so I decided to call it the 3F system, but call it F it. F up your day on a daily basis.
Yeah. Well, and they all work together, right? And it's knowing yourself, right? Because my wife's she's always like, I eat pretty decent, but she's like, you got to eat better because it affects her. Like whatever she eats affects her. Me, I can eat pretty much what I want, like on, not day after day after day, but it doesn't really affect me. However, if I don't work out for a couple of days and if I don't meditate, like then I'm a wreck, right? But that food piece, that's a little bit more of a variable, right? But it took me, I said 30, I'm 42. Shit. So I'm 42, but it took me that long to figure that out, right? She figured it out long ago. She just, I don't know. I think I have so much going on in here. It's hard to sift through it all, where she's just like, hey, F it.
I gotta tell you something. Women are way smarter than us. Trust me.
They are.
That's why I married a good one on that sense.
Yeah.
But, and you bring up the food thing, and again, it goes back to what I said earlier. Every individual, every person is so different, and so intuitively eating, to me, it's a part in the book here. We talk about intuitively eating, and again, when I go out to eat, if I know that they're cooking in a canola oil and I know that I have a reaction to canola oil, I either ask for no oil or a substitute oil, or I order something different that's not cooked in oil. If it's because I just know that after I eat that and I've taken note of that, I'm going to feel like crap the rest of the day. I'm going to want to take a nap, I mean, all that sort of stuff. So it's kind of the risk reward. How much do you want to partake in this for the satisfaction, real quick in order to ruin, the rest of your day or just, have some sort of blockage in it. Yeah. And I think sometimes those are the things we just assume are just like, that's just life. Well, no, that was actually the chili cheese fries you ate.
Right. That's what that was. That's why your back hurts. Totally. Right? And like, I'm okay with it sometimes. Like, I know my back's going to hurt for the rest of the day. I'm good. These things are delicious. Right. But
100%. Yeah. Why am I farting a lot? I don't know, man.
Oh, yeah. Went up to Flagstaff last weekend with a group of friends, and we ordered appetizers. We're at Lumberyard. We're drinking beer. We order the what were they? The Irish egg rolls, which is like sauerkraut and corned beef. And I'm like, that is why I get a hotel room by myself, right? Yeah. I'm not sharing a room with three dudes that's eating. Yeah. Sorry, I got off track with that. See, I started thinking about the good food.
Who put that on the menu? Ken?
Yeah, it was probably. Yeah, dude. I tell you what. It's the first time I've seen this in The ordering system at Lumberyard, have you seen that? All on your phone. You scan the app on your, you scan one of those codes, pulls it up, tells you what table number you're at, table 25. You go through the menu, order a beer, pay for it. You can leave a tip. Within 2 minutes, they bring it right to your table.
That's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
People are becoming so technologically savvy during this time because they have to in order to make money and to get there. And that's, you talk about the scan code. I mean, that's just on every menu thing. Like, you just do it with your camera and, a plug for your magazine here. And the new one that's coming out will have an ad on the ebook, which will have one of those scan codes that you can actually just take a picture of and boom, download the book. So
it's beautiful.
It's popular for everybody now.
Technology, man.
Right?
Right. It's we're getting up there. We're both on our 40s, so I can refer to you as old, right?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I have a 19-year-old kid, Figure that out.
Wow. Yep.
Every time he calls, it's like, cha-ching. I'm like, oh, dude. U of A sucking all my money right now.
Well, Dilo, what's the vision look like for you as far as the company, yourself, where do you see yourself going with all this?
So I heard a wise man once tell me that once you step on the brake, and you have this, you have what's called this sort of freeze sort of situation where you're not doing as much, and then all of a sudden somebody comes and it becomes greater than you in that sense, and that's cool. I'm always rooting for other people to do awesome and do that. But the fact of the matter is that while I am here on Earth and I'm not dirt, I have, as of now, as we sit here, that this positive motivation to keep helping people, to keep growing the DeLo, because I think day in and day out, I have things that can really help people, and create more positivity and more light. And then, with the business aspect, I don't see any separation between the DeLo, between bar restaurant insurance. I mean, we have a whole other line of insurance that does home and auto and all that, health insurance, benefits, that sort of thing. So I don't really talk about all that at all because I just see everything has one spectrum of my life and what I do. And if I'm able to help somebody in an insurance spectrum or a health spectrum or whatever it is, I mean, I can't even tell you how many, DMs or phone calls or text I get from just friends that are like, dude, what do you think about this product? What do you do here? This and that.
Yeah.
And that's fun for me. That's what life's about. I just, as long as I can have the energy to keep doing that, right now, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, probably going to be at tomorrow and the next however umpteen years.
Yeah.
And I love Arizona, and to do more and more to, to help and to be a part of, like what the Guild does and Devour. And, I want to continue to help watch those things succeed. And obviously, like what you guys are doing. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Don't take your foot off that brake. Don't put your foot on that brake, right?
No. Hell no.
I was thinking about cutting the line myself. Let's ride this thing.
Don't get me wrong.
That's a little extreme, but yeah.
Well, don't get me wrong. I am human. Okay. There are days where I'm just like, I'm fucking done.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and this isn't Dilo here saying, oh my God, I'm so positive all the time. That. No, if there's something that bad is going on or whatever, I'm going to take that in, bring it with the people that are closest to me, evaluate the situation, not complain, but do the best I can to take care of it and not bleed it out to everybody else. It's not their problem.
Right.
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 So again, there's no perfection here. I mean, this book probably could have came out in 3 years if I wanted to keep working on it. And that's the thing I think even in business, restaurant business, any sort of business, your guys' business, I mean, whatever it is, if we keep holding on to this ideal of perfection, we'll never get anything done.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I'm always evolving. It's always about evolving. I'm 47 and I'm literally just getting started.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's what the fortune teller told me.
When? How old were you when they told you that?
No, February 4th. I see one every year on my birthday.
This year? Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what she told you?
She's like, you are just getting started. I'm like,
hell yeah, dude. That's awesome, man. that is incredible. And when they tell you that then when they tell you the positive stuff, right, then it and I mean, in a way, it creates that what is it? Manifestation, right? You go with it.
Placebo effect, manifestation, all of it. Yeah, it really does. And I laugh because I'm like, oh, I'm just getting started. Okay, 25 years later, here I am. But I think a lot of times when you're not looking back at what you've already put in and you're at a point where you're at now and you're kind of wanting more, to be able to look at where you're at now for me is key and say, look what I've accomplished. I've got 12 employees. I've got a multi-million-dollar business even during a pandemic that specializes in hospitality.
Yeah.
I'm able to provide for my family and help others. I'm able to donate. I'm able to help people with health and wellness. This is where I'm at now. I think I've done pretty good, and I want to keep going.
Absolutely, man. You helped provide a situation where your dad was able to retire and take on the second career, right? Which going in the vein of it's never too late. You said your dad was not always.
No, my dad's 72, and as of 60, he started competing in bodybuilding shows.
So was he a fit? Did he work out a little bit?
He was Mr. Colorado back in the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he turned into Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
With two of his wives, kind of going through building a business, doing his thing. It was chicken wings and beer every night, and it was not good beer. It was like Bud Light.
Yeah.
And those big, Mickey whatever. Yeah. And I remember and McDonald's and Taco Bell bring all that stuff home, and we'd all eat it. So he flew off track like many people do, especially in those ages, and all they do is commit to work, and there's no sort of balance with even the 3 F's for him at that time. It was just like work. And that's where my addiction to work comes from. I mean, if you're a client of mine, and as you probably know, if you send me a text and email, it's generally less than a 24-hour turnaround, if not right away, because I'm neurotic like that, but I enjoy it. I get a rush. So my dad's gotten to retire after 50 years in insurance, and he was doing primarily home and auto, and you have to understand, like, his clientele started getting older as well, and so if it was somebody bitching about $10 because of an increase, maybe they had a claim and they were going to leave us to go to Geico or something like that, my dad would just take it so personally, always has, and he's like, I'm done, I can't do it anymore, it's too stressful for me because I take it too personally. So I'm like, please leave. I want you to be healthy, happy, but you have to tell me what you're going to do. And he said, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my nutrition certificate, my training certification, and I'm going to start training people. And so at 72, he's going to become a personal trainer to people 50 and over and teach them how to reuse or relearn their body so they don't just deteriorate.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Hell yeah, it is. Well, he's jacked, man. Like he's in good shape.
He's jacked. Yeah.
Like that's like one of those things like, hey, this guy doesn't know all right, maybe he does know what he's talking about.
Maybe so.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like when you go to to some of these training facilities and you buy a trainer and the trainer's like way overweight. And you're like, I'm not sure what I'm going to learn from you. I'm sure you're a cool dude. I mean,
we can go get beers after if you want. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be jacked, but when you're got a gut hanging over and it's like, all right, we're going to do some abs.
You got mustard stains on your shirt and stuff. Yeah. Well, there's no calories in mustard.
Nah, we're
That's
good.
True. Yeah. Well, Dilo, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
I know we've been talking about this for a while, so I'm glad we finally made it happen. Where can people find? So you got a website too. So Instagram is mainly where you're active as far as the day-to-day.
Yeah.
But what's the website?
I am the DeLo.com is the website. Also, if you're in hospitality, you can find me. You can Google bar and restaurant insurance. I'm the first thing that pops up, but it's barandrestaurantinsurance.com there. And, again, I'm always approachable, reachable, that sort of thing. I want to thank you guys for kind of going off course a little bit to have somebody that is, in, I guess, more of a vendor sort of spectrum as opposed to a brewery or a restaurant owner, but I've also owned restaurants, and so maybe it wasn't too far of a stretch, and I wanted to, obviously have a chat with you guys and make it interesting for people listening, maybe a different perspective.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. You're a huge part of this Arizona food and beverage scene.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. And, before I even met you, I was already like, this guy's awesome because, Tammy and Brett Weber and Christina, everybody was like, oh, Dilo's the best. I'm like, all right. If my favorite people like this guy, he's got to be
family,
cool.
Man. Yeah. We're all
and then
family.
We met you, and it exceeded our expectations.
It's a real simple motto. Don't be a dick.
Gary, you go. Boom. That's it. We're done.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, everyone, there you have it. The one and only Dilo. I hope you like this episode because he's got definitely a unique take on the industry and some interesting stories to share. Make sure to follow Dilo as well as A Taste of AZ on social media. See you next time.